Today, we're going to talk about these three things, kind of a standalone little section here. Mean, median, and mode. Yeah, it does have to do with some decimals and with some fractions, but it's kind of something that we use almost on a day-to-day basis anyway. We're going to talk about how to average things. All three of these things mean some form of an average or a central tendency. When you get into statistics, hopefully you do that, you're going to find out about mean and median and mode. We're going to talk about all three of them, what they actually mean, and then we'll do some examples. So the first one, when we talk about mean, the mean is what most people think of as an average. If I said an average, you're probably thinking about this one, the mean. What a mean does is it says, okay, if I want the mean of all the money in this classroom, that would be the average of everyone's money in this classroom. I'd add up all your money, right? I divide by the total number of people in this classroom. Are you with me? That would give me the average of how much money is in this classroom. Now I have zero money. You have, I don't know how much you have.
Me?
Yeah.
20.
Oh, I'll be seeing you after class. So yoink. No, I'm just kidding. So $20, and then I don't know how much you have, but we'd add up all your money, divide by the total number of people in this classroom. That would give us what's called our mean. If you think of mean, you think of pretty much an average. If you think of average, chances are you're thinking of the mean. So this is what most people think of as the average. Actually, what it is the arithmetic average. It means the average found by addition. The arithmetic average. And here's basically what you do. I'll put it in English for you. You add all the values and divide by the number of values you added. You add all the values and divide by the number of values you added. So add all the values and then divide by the number of values you added. You ready to do an example? Okay, let's do an example. Let's say that this was the average of the final score of the Lakers games for 5 games last year. This is how much they scored. So find the mean. So we're going to find the average of the last 5 games they scored. They scored 87, 75. They lost that one, 96, 91, and 78. Maybe it's not the Lakers, maybe it's the Clippers. Who knows? I don't care. Whoever they are. So here's the scores of the last 5 games. What I want you to do, what I want us to do, I want to find the arithmetic average, or the mean. I want to find the mean of these numbers. What the mean says to do, you add all of them up, and then you divide by the total number of numbers that you added, or the number of values that you added. So, in order to find our average, we're going to have a division problem and an addition problem all in one. Can you tell me the numbers I'm adding up here?
Oh.
Yeah, and?
75.
Sure.
96. 71.
Perfect. So the first thing I want to add all 5 of those numbers up. So let's do that. If you have a calculator, take your calculator out. We're using calculators now. So take that out. We definitely don't want to be doing all that stuff in our head. It takes too long. Those are big numbers. So add those up, punch it in real quick. See how much you get when you add 87, 75, 96, 91, and 78. 427?
Yeah.
427? 427. Okay, quick question, ladies and gentlemen. Is their average score 427?
No.
No. No, that's all the points added together. When you think of an average, if I said, what's average height? Are you going to say average height is 6'5"?
No.
No, that's like a really tall person, right? Average height would mean someone like right in the middle, right? It should be right in the middle of these numbers, shouldn't it? Average height for guys is like 5'7", 5'8". Average height for girls is a little bit lower, 5'4", 5'5". That's because you might be taller or shorter than that. Some of you much taller, some of you much shorter than that. But that's what's common to most people, right? That's if you added everyone's height together and divided by all people, that's what you would get. Here, that's what we're doing with these basketball scores. So we should get a score that's right in between these numbers. Should it be over 96? Definitely not. Should it be under 75? No, I'm thinking if I have to estimate, somewhere probably in the 80s. That's what I'm guessing. Probably an average in the 80s. But we're getting 427. What do we still have to do?
Divide.
Why 5?
854.
Divide by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. We just added 5 numbers. We're going to divide that by 5. And what I want you to do is round that to the tenths place. Round that to the tenths place. So you should get a decimal. You should get a decimal on your calculator, right? 427 isn't divisible by 5. So you should get something like
85.4. It's 85.
Tell me what your calculator says. 85. Even?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So 85.4, we're going to leave it just like that. What that means is that on average, these people are scoring 85.4 points a game. Hey, let me ask you a question. Can you actually score 85.4 points in a game? You'd be like, oh, there's a 3, there's a 2, there's a half.
No.
What? Yeah, they count as a half. Touch the net. It's a half. That's how I used to count basketball points. But they don't actually do that, right? So you can't even score that 0.4. However, on average, yeah, that's where you should be. If you took all the basketball games and compiled them, they're going to be 85.4. It's not even a score you can attain. However, it shows you where you're at on normal. So most of the time, they're going to be scoring somewhere around 85 points. Sometimes 85, sometimes 86, sometimes other than that. But on average, they should be scoring right around that number. Does that make sense? Also, when you get into statistics, this is also called expected value. What you should expect to get in the next game. You know, what should the Lakers score next game? Well, according to this information, they should be scoring somewhere around 85 points. Are they going to be higher or lower than that? Perhaps.
Probably.
Perhaps they could be. But according to this information, you're expected to score around 85. You with me? Okay. I'm going to show you one more way to find an average that's going to be pretty useful for you in the future. This is how to find the average according to your grades. Have you ever heard of a GPA?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. What's a GPA stand for? Grade point what?
Average.
Awesome. It's relevant to you. A grade point average. How do they get a grade point average? Is it based on one class?
No.
It's based on all your classes that you're taking, right? Your GPA is based on this class combined with all your other classes, but it's also dependent on the number of units you have in those classes. Do you know that? If you take a 1-unit class and you take a 4-unit class, an A in a 1-unit class is not worth as much as an A in a 4-unit class. Did you know that? Well, if you didn't, now you do. So when they average those things out, if you got like an A in a 1-unit class and a C in a 4-unit class, it's not going to average out to a B. It's going to be a high C. But because those things right there, they're weighted differently. We're going to talk about how to find a GPA, which is a grade point average, which is based on the weight of your class units and the grade that you're getting. So here's how you do a GPA. How many classes have you taken? 4? 4 classes. Okay, you're taking 4 classes. Well, I know you're taking a math class. Takes a genius to figure that out, right? Joke. Thanks for the courtesy laugh. Appreciate it, guys. You're taking math. What else are you taking? Anybody in biology? English? How many units is English? 4. Okay. How many units? Well, what's the other class you're taking?
Health.
Health is 3, right?
Yeah.
Let's do something small. How about like art? There's some 2-unit art classes out there.
Weight training.
Is that 2 units?
We're doing
1 unit?
Yeah.
Let's pick something with 2 units. I know there's an art class of 2. Let's pick an art just for fun. So have this some fun. Well, here's the deal. Your GPA is based not only on your grades, but on the unit amount for each of those classes. So you need to know the units, and you need to know your grade for each class. The combination of these things gives you what's called credits. Credits is how you figure out your GPA. Okay, let's fill these columns, all right? Firstly, math. How many units is this class?
4.
That's why you're here 4 days a week. How many units is your English class? What was it? 4. Health class, what was it?
3.
And art, we'll say that's a 2-unit class. So far, so good? Okay, now let's be optimistic here. What grade do you want in your math class?
A.
Yeah. Please, I'm shooting for high D. Whatever, it's just Leonard's class, right? Forget it. High D's good enough. Now I'll shoot for A in here. Okay. What about your English class?
6.
Yeah, I don't really care about English either. See, fine, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. What do you want out of your health class?
B.
Probably let's go for a B. Health's not that. I mean, you don't need to be really healthy, do you? You just need a B in that. Somewhat average healthy. And then art class, well, you gotta nail art. I mean, everyone gets an A in art. Just show up and make something out of clay, you get an A in art. Jeez. Now, according to GPA, though, A's should count for a number, B should count for a number, C's and D should count for a number, because you can't say, oh, what'd you get? I got 4A. 4 units times A, that's 4A. No, we don't really do that. We associate these letters with a point value. How many points do you get for an A? How about for a C?
2.
2 points for C. For a B?
3.
How about for a D?
You get 1.
You get 1 and then 0 for anything else. Here's how you figure out your credits, and this will show you visually why classes are worth different amounts for you. So, firstly, to figure out your credits, you multiply the unit number times the grade value. So, how many credits did my class give you?
16.
16 credits. How many credits did your English give you?
8.
Notice how it's half the credits. Same units, different grade, half the credits. How many credits did your health class give you?
9.
Notice how you get more credits for your health class than you did for your English class, even though it was worth less units because your grade was better. Interesting, isn't it? That's how it affects your GPA. Your art class, how much?
8.
So your 2-unit art class, when you get an A in it, counts GPA-wise as a 4-unit English class with a C in it. Are you with me? Now, here's how you calculate your GPA. You add up your credits and divide by the total number that you added. It's averaging this. So the GPA is the average of the credits. That would be the total number of credits divided by the total number of credit spaces that you added. So how many credits are we adding?
4.
We're adding 4. So what are we going to divide by?
4.
4. We're dividing by 4. What are you adding up here? The 4, 4, 3, and 2?
The credit.
Yeah, because you have to. They're dependent on the unit, right? So it's 16, 8, 9, 8. Can you do 16 plus 8 plus 9 plus 8 for me, please?
41.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I totally screwed that up for you. I didn't mean the number of credits. I meant the number of units. I said credits. I meant units. Sorry. So average of credits. So it's credits over units. I don't know why I said number of credits. My mistake. You divide that by the number of units that you have. So number of units. How much is the number of units?
13.
Good. So we take our 41 divided by 13. My bad on that. What's 41 divided by 13? Use your calculator and give it to me in 2 decimal places, to the hundredths.
3.15.
3.15 what?
Hundreds? What do you mean?
On your calculator it says 3.15. Is that it? It stop there?
No, it's 3.153.
Okay, so you'd say 3.153, and it goes on forever, right? But if I want you to round it here, this number depends on what that number is, right? So on your calculator screen, if I say to the hundredths, which I am, then this is going to be 3.15. Is that a valid GPA? Would you be happy with 3.15? It's like a B average. So even though you didn't get a B in all your classes, you got a couple A's, you got a B, and you got a C, you're getting just above a B average right there. That's not bad. Not too bad at all. Transfer real well with that. How many people understood the whole idea of the GPA? So you find your units, your grade value, multiply those things for credit, add all those up, and divide by the number of units here, the 13. That will give you your GPA. So last time we discussed the mean. And what the mean is a form of an average. It's actually the arithmetic average, which meant you add all your items together, all your values together, then you divide by the number of values you just added. We did this with, I believe, the Lakers game scores, and we also do it with the GPA, so you were able to find that out. Now, there's a couple other types of averages. These are not typically the things you think of when you hear the word average. Normally, when you hear average, you think of the arithmetic average, adding things up and dividing. However, there's 2 other ways to show a central tendency, that means what most data is around, and those are the median and the mode. We're going to talk about the median right now. Here's what the median is used for. Median's used a lot of times in real life. Have you ever heard of like the median salary or the median household income or the median home value? Have you heard of those before?
Once or twice.
Yeah, well, why aren't they saying mean? Why are they saying the median? We're going to talk about that right now. The median, when you hear that word, median sounds like middle, kind of like the middle. The median is actually the middle value in a set of data. So median means the middle value. The middle value. Let's take a look at an example here. So I'm going to give you some numbers just to get our heads around this. Hey, tell me something. Would it help to find the median here if I asked you to find the middle number? If I asked you to find the middle number of something, what do you think would have to happen before you actually do it? Because right now, I'll tell you what, the middle number here is 1. Do you see that?
Yeah.
However, are these numbers in order?
No.
You do got to put them in order, because if I'm asking you to find the middle of something, you're going to assume that those numbers are sequentially in order from smallest to largest. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
So when you're talking about the median, not only is it the middle number, but it's the middle number after you put your data in order. You have to put this in order. So I'm going to put you must put the data in order first, right off the bat. If you're unfamiliar with that word data, that just means the numbers you're dealing with, the values. So in our case, we're going to put this in order. What's the first number I need to write there?
1.
We're going from smallest to largest. What's the first number I need to write? And then?
2.
And then?
3.
Uh-huh.
5, 7, 9, 10.
Do we have all the numbers listed?
Yes.
Okay, and they're in the correct order, smallest to largest.
Yeah.
Now we can find the median. You see, the middle number means the middle number after you already have them listed sequentially. So the middle number, how many total numbers do we have up here?
7.
7.
So the middle one is going to be the...
5.
Sure, it's 5 right there. We have 3 to the left. We have 3 to the right. They're in order. So this right here, that is your median. So in other words, we'll say the median is 5. Median just simply means the middle number. Is there any really math that you have to do here?
No.
Not so much. Not really. I mean, with the average, with the arithmetic mean, the mean, you had to add all those things up and divide. Here, we just have to have our numbers in order. That's the big key point here. Then find the middle number. Okay, let's say we have these numbers. How many are there?
6.
What's the first thing you have to do with these numbers, everybody? What are you going to do first? Good. What's the first one?
0.
0. And then?
1,
And then?
5, 6.
Cool. All right. Hey, quick question. If we have these things in order, which we know we're supposed to do, and we're supposed to find the middle number, here it was very easy, wasn't it? Very easy because there was a middle. Is there a middle number here?
No.
Oh, whoa. Wait a
Put
second.
0.
This is 0. No median. Now, there's got to be something in the middle.
5.
There's got to be something
You
there.
add 2 in the middle.
5 and
Yeah.
6.
5 and 6. You gotta have 1. You're on the right track though. Let's think about this critically, okay? If we have an odd number of numbers, like the 7 numbers, or 9 numbers, or 11 numbers, do you guys agree that there's gonna be one number in the middle?
Right.
You with me on that? If you have an odd number of numbers, like 7. But if you have an even number of numbers, like 6 or 8 or 10, you're not gonna have a specific middle number. In fact, our median's gonna fall somewhere right here between these two numbers. Now, if your median falls between those two numbers, here's how you do it. You're going to take both those numbers and you're going to average them arithmetically. That means you're going to add them together and you're going to divide by 2 because what you want is the number right in between them. So is your median going to be part of your data set here? No. No, you're going to actually get 5.5. Do you see how I'm getting 5.5 out of that? You sure?
Yeah.
You're adding them together, you get 11, you divide by 2, you're going to get 5.5. The 5.5 is not actually in here, but it does represent the middle of your data set. How many people feel okay with that? Okay, good. So our median in this case, here's how you find it in general, because it might not be easy numbers like 5 and 6. You could have 3.38 and 4.2. You listen to me right now? So you can't just do it in your head. You got to know the operation. You're adding the 5 and the 6. You're adding those two middle numbers and you're dividing by 2 because averaging says you're adding these two numbers and then you divide it by 2, you get what's right in the middle. So whatever these are, if for an even number of numbers, you look at your middle terms, you average them. Here we're going to get 5.5. How many people feel pretty good about this so far? Good, all right. Hey, you know what? You might be wondering, why in the world do we even deal with the median? Why can't we just deal with the mean all the time? Why can't we just add things and divide them? Let me ask you a question up here, okay? Watch on the board. I'm going to go back to this data set. Do y'all agree that this median was 5, right? And this one you're okay that this is 5.5? Even though it's not in there, you just average those two middle numbers? Watch back on this data set. If I change the 10 to a 3,148. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, 3,148. Does my median change?
No.
No.
Oh. If I were to find the mean of this and the mean of this, would it be different?
Yes.
Absolutely, because you're adding that one, right? So here's why people use the median. The mean, what we learned last time, took every data value into account, didn't it? You added them all up and you divided by that number. The median actually doesn't. The median has them in order. However, once they're ordered, you're just taking the middle number. These numbers that could be way outside, otherwise known as an outlier, those outliers do not affect the median. This is why people use stuff like the median household income and the median home value to represent data rather than the mean. You see, are there some people in this world who make way more than everybody else?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Typically, how it works is most people make around, as a household, $44,000 a year annual, like as a whole house. So most families make around that. That's the median, somewhere around that range. Some more, some less, right? However, are there people who make billions of dollars a year?
Yeah.
If you were to average those according to a mean, you'd get a number that's way bigger than what most people make. you get something in the hundreds of thousands. That's way more than I make. That's way more than most people in here make, right? Right? So if you want to represent most people, oftentimes when you're dealing with money or house values, you're going to use the median. Because those outliers, those people who make way more than everyone else, are throwing off the arithmetic average, but they're not going to throw off the median. Do you see the difference in that? So if this was the amount of money you made, like I make $1, you make 2, someone makes 3, 5, 7, and 9. The median, the middle number is 5, and then someone makes 3,000. That's way more than everybody else. However, it doesn't affect that one value. Do you guys see the difference between mean, which accounts for all the values, and median, which doesn't? Yes, no? All right, good deal. Now, the last thing we get to talk about mode. Mode is not used as much as the mean, it's not used as much as the median. But it is used on occasion. When we talk about the mode, really there's not any math we have to do at all with this operation. With the mean, you had to add. With the median, well, you sometimes have to average. With the mode, there's really nothing you got to do. All you're looking for is the data value that occurs the most frequently. That's the mode. So the number that happens the most often. So we'll say the mode is the most commonly occurring value. It's just the number that happens the most. We'll do 3 examples. Hey, by the way, does the data have to be in order to find the mode, do you think? How about the mean? The mean.
No.
If you're adding them all up, does it matter?
No.
No, but the median, yes. So the median's the only one where the data has to be in order, and it certainly does have to be in order. The mode, we don't have to add or anything. What we're looking for is the most commonly occurring value. So can you look up there, tell me the number that happens the most often?
15.
15, yeah. 10 does repeat, right? So that's the secondly most occurring number, but we're not looking for that. We're looking for the one that occurs the most often. 1 time, 2 times, 1 time, 3 times, 1 time. So the 3 right here, that would say that our mode is 15. So it's just the number that happens the most.
Does it have to be in order?
Well, you answer it. Do they have to be in order? What do you think?
Could there be like one at the beginning, one at the end?
You're just counting up the number that there are, right? So it doesn't really matter whether they're in order or not, just whether they're there or not, okay? The one that happens the most often is the mode. Does this have a mode?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, what number is the mode here?
3.
Sure, so mode's 3. Hey, what if I did this real quick? What if I erased this last 3?
No more.
No more.
You do have the option of having no mode. If no number repeats, there's no mode there, okay? So mode signifies that you actually have a number that repeats and that it repeats the most often. So here the number repeated, but it's not a mode. It didn't repeat the most often. Here the number repeated the most often, that's our mode. Here nothing repeated. If I tack on that 3, the 3 repeats only 1 time. That is our mode. Okay, let's try one more. How about that one? Do I have a mode there?
Yeah.
Well, which one?
7 and 5.
So not only do I have a number that repeats, I have 2 numbers that repeat the same amount of times. We call this bimodal. You typically wouldn't do anything besides bimodal. You wouldn't have like trimodal or quadrimodal unless you have a huge number of data values. But in certain cases, like with this one, you can say there's actually two modes. The 5 and the 7 are both modes. Now, you might be asking, or maybe you can explain this to me, why are 5 and 7 modes here, but 10 and 15 are not modes there?
Because 10 only has 2 and 15 and 3.
Okay, so in order to be bimodal,
They
you have to
have
have
a-
two things repeating, and they have to be the same
Same.
number of repeats. All right, so here, twice, twice. If this had been 3 times, or this had been 3 times, that would be a single mode. But when you have these two different numbers repeating the same number of times, you can have 2 modes out of that. That would be called bimodal. Do you guys feel okay with the mean, and the mode? Raise your hand if you feel all right with that. Good deal, all right.